Have you ever felt extremely discouraged in the process of trying to move yourself forward in building out your business or just achieving any goal? Yeah, I got you here, right? It's sometimes, even when we feel clear, as we're moving forward, we're still left feeling completely unclear or scattered or feeling like we're starting certain things and we're not seeing that headway. We're not seeing the momentum amount to anything. And it could just be so incredibly discouraging. I can't even say how many countless times I've had to lean on the tools that I teach on in terms of high performance coaching to be able to get myself to over that obstacle, over the doubt, over the frustration, over the just the overwhelming, discouraging feeling of wanting to achieve a goal and feeling like I'm taking the right steps, but just not seeing the results happen. And so I want us to really touch in on this because, when we get discouraged, and that shows up in all areas of our life, right? And it really comes down to our mindset and the tools that we pull on to be able to move ourselves forward. And so that's what I really want us to focus in on right now is taking a little bit of time to reflect on, for you, where do you get discouraged? Where do you feel frustrated? What part of the process, whether it's professional or personal, are you just kind of hitting that wall and you're not sure if what you're doing, if it's worth it? When we get to that place and we're like, why are we even doing this? Being an entrepreneur especially is so frustrating because sometimes you're alone or you feel like you're alone. You're not actually alone. It's just those feelings that we have that take over and we just start to doubt the process. We doubt ourselves. And so what I want us to focus in on just a few little steps that you can remind yourself of and implement when you are feeling in that way. So just note, it's not when you're feeling good that you just want to do this. This really is that reminder when you start to get indications that you're falling into or you're feeling some of those feelings. And this is what I love about journaling is understand what goes on for you. Do you feel tightness in your chest? Do you feel fire inside of you? Do you feel like, tightness in your neck? Like what goes on when you feel frustrated or disappointed or discouraged? And start to have a good idea, because here's the thing, that is the indication that you're falling into that feeling. Once you have identified it and you're able to catch yourself in the shift of thought process from positive, excited, to falling into just feeling those other feelings. That moment, that's step one. You need to be present with yourself enough that you can catch yourself. Too often I see people fall into reactionary decisions because they react before they even have thought through, like, okay, what's going on for me right now? Why am I feeling like this right now? And identifying what that might be coming from. Is it about that specific situation? Or is there something else in your life that's coming up that then is layered on, this situation? So you got to get that clarity. And the only way to get that clarity is to ask yourself some questions and reflect a little bit. To be able to witness and be curious as to what your body is going through, what feelings are coming up, to be able to kind of put a little pause, breathing it out, asking yourself a few questions. So self-coaching, this is a game changer. So that's step one. Step two is you got to trust the process. Nothing is built overnight. And if it were that easy, guess what? We all would be accomplishing everything that we've ever wanted to. We'd all have all the money that we ever wanted to. Nothing would be hard. Part of the process, as my mentor Brenda Burchard always says, is honor the struggle. And honoring the struggle means honoring the struggle. Remind yourself of why it is that you're putting yourself through all of this. What's the end goal? Paint a clear picture for yourself. Connect in and visualize the excitement and the feelings that you would have when you're going to achieve that goal, if that goal is what's meant for you in your future. We'll talk a little bit more about that after. So it's number one, honor the process, honor the struggle, visualize the greatness, the win, the goal, and protect that, because you're going to be tested with the distraction of feeling like, your wheels are just spinning, you're getting just discouraged in the process and you just want to quit. That's just part of it. Do you think that like an athlete getting ready for the Olympics or for an elite sport, everything just happens perfectly for them? They're not tested at all. Part of this game is really persevering through those hard times. Every time you push through an obstacle and you commit to yourself and to the process, you're saying like, I want this that badly. And you keep doing it, you get stronger. And you never know when that moment is going to be the moment that all of a sudden everything connects. And so I really caution you to just allow that feeling, or if it's your ego that's coming up that wants you to quit because it's too hard, or you're seeing other people do it and they're doing it faster, that's not the right talk to be listening to. What you're saying beyond those thoughts, that's what matters. That's you coaching yourself to greatness. Now, there are times where we want something, we have a goal, we feel like we're doing the right steps and we've got the right support and the right tools and resources to get ourselves in alignment with that goal. And it's really just not happening. And, after a while, sometimes I will say, if it's taking that long and you're not even excited, and you're not even excited when you think about like that end result, and you don't even want to, well, maybe you do drop the goal. Maybe your time is better shifted somewhere else. But again, you need to go through the motions to be able to get enough data, enough clarity to have that distinction, to realize what is meant for you versus maybe what's not meant for you. And so when you honor the process, you're going to view every single one of those obstacles as a blessing, as something to be grateful for, because every step or misstep or bump that we go through gives us more information as to what it is that we want, what we don't want, who we are, how strong we are, how we can push through. And so I don't know that you would ever want the journey to be without the struggle. I don't want that. A part of, going through this process is discovering that, yeah, it is hard. There is no shortcuts. The shortcuts are when you're working with somebody who has done it, and they help you in identifying those shortcuts because they've already done that work. That's why it's so magical about working with coaches and working with masterminds and working with different groups that help you shorten the amount of time to get to a place. But what they won't shorten is two things: how you show up in your head about yourself in the process, and the hard work that's going to have to be put in order to get there. And so really, if you're wanting that quick, easy thing, I don't know. There's nothing I'm promising you there. When you embrace the struggle, the hard, and you're like, this is part of it, and I'm going to feel so good, the mental talk, I'm going to feel so good at the end of this. And wherever it leads me, it's going to lead me to where I'm meant to be in my life. Because sometimes we just don't even know where it's going to lead, and that's exciting. Embrace that change. Embrace the uncertainty. When we resist those elements and aspects, then we make everything hard. Everything becomes stiff. When you embrace that, like, yeah, it's going to be challenging. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out, right? Then you're like having fun with it. There's more joy. There's less dread. You can't bring joy and dread in the same equation. And so I want you to really think about where you're at with some of those projects or goals that you're just having a hard time with right now, and where you feel discouraged. And I want you to look at things differently. And this is the power of shifting your mindset and adopting new belief systems about yourself and about the process in itself. So, those are just a few steps. Is if you also pair that with a weekly debriefing, what worked and what didn't work, and shifting so that you don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And you pair that with the right productivity. These are all things that we go through in high performance coaching. in that curriculum and what I'm bringing my group coaching students through. And so if you're lacking some of those areas, then get yourself in the game, get the tools so that you can succeed. I don't know how often I see people struggle and they don't even have the right tools that they're pulling on, and they wonder why they're not making it and why it feels hard. And then they get discouraged and they give up on their dreams, right? It doesn't have to be that way. And more so, you don't have to be alone in the process. Huge reason why I've invested in my own coaching and masterminds and so on and so forth, so that I have that collective support and I've got the tools to get myself beyond that. So if you're needing that, please reach out to me or to anybody else that you feel like would be that right fit for you. Start to discover where the gap may be beyond your mindset and what we've talked about today that if you were to fill it, would help you achieve those goals. But it is going to be hard, but you can enjoy it at the same time as it being hard. And I just want you to know that that is possible and feasible, but you got to want that to be. And you need the right support around you to help you stay in that space. So nothing great is going to breed from negativity. You know, you're not going to have this beautiful epiphany. You're not going to feel better about yourself staying in a spot where you're not feeling good about yourself in the process. So here's the thing. Take that step. If you want it badly enough, you're going to do what you need to do to get there. And it's not going to be in those moments of feeling those feelings. On a very side note, it's not about pushing those feelings away. It's about honoring what those feelings are. So I'm not saying to you that you're not going to ever feel discouraged or that you shouldn't feel sad sometimes or disappointed or frustrated. Honor that. Too often people push that away, and then that means that they're in avoidance of those feelings. That's part of the process of you really being in healthy control of your life and the choices that you can make. And that is something that you can control, is you can sink into those feelings. You can allow yourself some time to just be frustrated, but then move yourself out of it, right? Don't let yourself sit in it for days and weeks. And I've seen people go into years stuck in past situations. So decide that you're going to honor yourself and the process, and you're going to shift that mindset and get yourself the support that you need to be able to get and achieve those goals. I cannot wait to hear about it. Please come join the forum and share with us, you know, where your struggles, where your successes are, what you are working on. You can find that on charlottefro.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, charlottefro, the underscore between Charlotte and Fro. And I hope to hear from you. And if I don't, just keep moving yourself forward. And I can't wait to see what that brings you. All right. You take care.